quieter because half of our Airbnb is still in bed. So, yes, I'm not back to Louisiana yet, but I wanted to update you guys on a few things that I'm running across where this Texas girls camp is concerned. Now, I want to make this very clear. If you don't know who I am, my name is Samantha. I am a small homesteader, farmsteader located in Southeast Louisiana, and I am a Christian. I struggled to do this video for several reasons. One of which is that there's still children missing. And I have a lot of compassion for parents in that situation because I'm a mom of 4 children that are literally spread out around the world. And I can't imagine, good morning, solar flare. I can't imagine people discussing a flood that had taken my child, just callously discussing it on the internet, right? So I did struggle with that. So let me make a disclaimer. I am not talking about anybody's children in this video. And I think what has happened is truly and horrible. It's horrific. Excuse me. What I am going to be discussing is the weather modification behind these storms, the smart cities coming for Texas, the use of the land that we see these areas that keep getting flooded. Like there's a purpose, a monetary purpose behind flooding these areas. Then we're going to talk about why in the world would any Christian name a camp Camp Mystic? What does the word mystic mean? And what is actually being taught within this camp? Now, we're going to touch on all of that. I understand there's a terrible reflection in my glasses. I understand this may be a grainy video. I am, again, not at home. I am traveling. I'm doing these updates because I think now is the time to get the information out so that more people understand what is truly happening in our country. So let's just start with the name Mystic, all right? I want everybody to understand that there's a lot of heartbreak going on there. Let's begin there. So Camp Mystic, one of the directors, Dick, it was the guy, Tweety's wife, has passed away. A camp down the road, or down the river, also had their director pass away, trying to save people, and it is really horrific. So let me pull up that video for you guys about this gentleman real fast.
We have learned that the camp director of Camp Mystic perished in the floods. The Kerrville Daily Times is reporting this. We have learned that Dick Eastland, a beloved figure in the Camp Mystic community, tragically died during this historic flooding. He was trying to help protect campers. A beautiful write-up in the Kerrville Daily Times is from a former camper discussing the lasting impact that Mr. Eastland and his wife, Tweety Eastland, had on just generations of campers there. The author reminisced about her life at the camp starting in the 80s and the powerful friendships and the lessons that she gained there. A pivotal moment she explained in her camp experience was the kindness, exchange that led to a lifelong friendship with this Eastland family. So Dick Eastland being remembered as a father figure to hundreds of girls at camp, always prioritizing the campers' safety and their growth. And he died a hero, trying to protect as many of those campers as possible. So that makes 2 camp directors, Sarah, who have perished in these floods.
An absolute hero. And this is one of the things that we're really beginning to hear as we continue now to begin identifying those who have lost their lives in the floods, that they've sacrificed their lives to save others. And like you mentioned, this is now the 2nd camp director. Camp The Hills camp director also lost theirs, and they said that she passed away while trying to save other staff members as well. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Mr. Eastland and these amazing camp directors that have given everything in their lives so that they can make sure that others live.
And
excuse me, I think I'm catching a cold. I do that when I sleep under a different AC unit. All right, so let me break this down. We now have 2 camp directors from 2 separate camps that have passed away. I just saw your comment, Miss Shirley, and I agree with you. There is more going on than people realize. This area along the Guadalupe River, if you look at what the city and the county has done in their pre-planning for the future, you will notice that they have plans for this area that is privately owned for generations. Now, my question is this: how do you get somebody off land that has an established business or a camp, or they've owned it for generations? Like, how do you get people to move when that is happening, right? Well, the government has a way, friends. Let's get into that one real fast.
The perfect storm, the George Bush storm. You see, weather changes, and weather is used to reshape a population and reshape a city. More importantly, weather is used to drive down property value and drive people out of areas in which they don't want them in. The exact same thing just happened in the Palisades, and it's the exact same damn thing that happened in Hawaii. Now it just hit Texas. So the issue in Texas is the governor of Texas going to put his foot up somebody's ass, or is he going to let them play games? The issue is now, is Donald Trump going to put his foot up somebody's behind, or is he going to play games? And I'll say this: the way to make sure that they get held accountable is to retweet these type of tweets at the Department of Justice, at the FBI, at the President of the United States. And if you can't, retweet them towards people who know the President of the United States. Retweet it at Alex Jones, at Tucker Carlson, at all these people that have a direct connection to the President, to where it can come up to his attention. And that's the honest to God truth. So here we go. The comprehensive plan in Kerrville's 2050 comprehensive plan update focuses on priorities like managed growth, housing affordability, downtown revitalization, Guadalupe River protection, which often involves using technology for planning, infrastructure improvements from the Kerrville Economic Improvement Corporation, digital transformation initiatives, which, while not explicitly branded as smart city initiatives, DOTIs, or the Department of Digital Information Transformation Initiatives, specific projects like the River Trail and the Singing Wind Park Master Plan incorporate elements that could be considered smart. So she went and asked AI about it and didn't really pull the plan. That's enough for me. I don't really want to go pull the plan. I'm just going to tell you, I lived this plan. The New Orleans plan was, after the city was flooded, they knew there was a flood coming. Investors knew. My mentor knew. He was like, yeah, if there's going to be a flood in the city of New Orleans, James, and I want you to know, when it comes, you're going to need to get out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and move the Superdome closer to the French Quarters. If we can buy out and get the city to sell the housing projects there, we'll move and build us a new Superdome near to the city. And I want you involved in this project. And I was like, what the hell? If you're never set with evil, then you don't know what evil smell like, don't know what it look like. We talking about 5 years before Katrina hit, I'm being told that Katrina's going to hit and what the plan is to do. It's like, well, the fallback plan is if we can't get the people to go along with tearing down the projects, then what we're going to do is we're going to revitalize the downtown area, and we're going to do, low-income housing, but we're going to do a mixed use, and eventually we'll transform the downtown area. And I was like, that's not going to work. Well, why you don't think I said it's not going to work? Because you're not factoring the Negro factor. I said, you factor in all the other factors that make sense from like a pen and paper perspective, but you're not factoring in the Negro factor of these are families of New Orleanians who've been in those neighborhoods forever. You can't just move in some random people from out of town into those neighborhoods. They're going to run them people off. And I was right, and it's still the exact same that way. It's still as
He is right. So we all know, if you live in Louisiana, we call it the Bush Hurricane. Like, we're not stupid. It was the perfect storm. That's what they called it. They nicknamed it. They created it. Now, yesterday I had some disbelievers. This is a conspiracy. People died. And you're on the internet spreading conspiracy. Oh, conspiracy. How can you live with yourself? Because my eyes are wide open, folks. me tell you something. You can go to weather.modification at TDLR at or dot texas.gov, and you're going to find this map. Now, you can say conspiracy theory all you want, friends, but this says map of rain enhancement projects in Texas. Yeah, that's what that says. And this is from a Texas government site. So you may be asking, Samantha, I'm new to your channel, sweetheart. Could you explain to me what it means when you say rain enhancement projects? Sure, I don't mind explaining that to you. A rain enhancement project is a partnership between the government and a private corporation and or the military, where they go up into the sky and they either dump something like silver iodide into clouds to make them rain, or to stop it from hailing, or to add snow on the mountaintop. They did this last year in Dubai. Now, if you're unfamiliar how cloud seeding can get out of hand, please take a moment at the end of this video and simply type in Dubai 2024 flood. And then you'll see the evidence where they talk about how they've been cloud seeding in the desert for months, if not years. And all of a sudden, the clouds just started raining and they would not stop, folks. Well, why didn't they stop, Sam? Because it's no longer an act of God when man gets involved. It's no longer weather when man decides to make it rain. Of course, they developed that same weather warfare during the Vietnam to totally wipe out entire villages of the Viet Cong. Now, this is all very easy to look up. I know that Americans are super lazy sometimes, and once we're told something is conspiracy, we will simply not look it up because it's easier to live inside of the little bubble and to continue to swallow the blue pill. That's on you. Folks, look, because I'm not at home, not doing it normal, please make sure that you like, you comment, that you are subscribed to our channel. It will help this video get pushed. I am going to show you, it's going to take me a second because like I said, I am not at home. Things are a little different. Let me show you proof. Kerr County is in the red bullseye. They are part of one of the counties that were projected and did get rain enhancement.
Get out! Get out of your car!
Oh my God.
So, this was not a storm that came in and then just sat in place. Folks, it was a created cloud and then it was held in place. Now, I understand that may sound all science fiction and fully BS. Let me tell you something. I don't have time to pull your leg or tickle your ears. And if you watch me for any amount of time, you're going to understand I simply have no BS meter. I don't do this because I get paid, because actually I don't get paid. YouTube thinks my content's harmful because I won't lie to you. My husband has an aneurysm and I'm on vacation. So I don't have time to play with people. You're either going to wake up and understand what the government can do or go back to sleep.
We've only seen the letters A and B, which quickly formed and disappeared, which would be Andrea and Barry. Now, Chantel might be another story as far as hurricanes go, but we're expected to see at least a possible tropical storm in the Gulf this week or within the next 7 days. And you can see that right here on the 5-day tropical outlook chart. As of right now, they're kind of expecting this thing to possibly roll up the west coast of Florida and then hug the Gulf states, the Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi. This could all change in a short period of time, but I think it's very interesting how we've had such a quiet season, and then out of nowhere we get this explosion of energy in the Gulf. That's a weird looking phenomena. It does not look natural to me. It's involving the Netshred towers, then zapping the crap out of this front. That seems artificially made to me. Of course, this is just my opinion, which I'm allowed to have. God forbid you have your own opinion these days online, but this is very strange, my friends. This is not something you lie, and we've only seen the letters A and...
So what happens is they create these clouds. They fill them full of chemicals. I told you yesterday during the live, when that happens, a couple of things happen. The clouds no longer move. They don't naturally dissipate like a natural weather rainstorm. And then they use things like NexRad and frequencies to hold these storms in place. Baby, we saw this with Katrina. We saw this last year in Kentucky and Tennessee. And it's about time. Texas, you guys are strong.
Right now, this is
Y'all
the
know
map.
they're
As you
doing
can
this.
see, they're using
You're looking at your weather.
completely encircling this storm and not allowing it to move. They did this before with their last hurricane. The name escapes me, but it just stayed there for
Milton.
days and days and days. You see this? This isn't natural. Weather moves unless it's obstructed by overwhelming frequencies, as you can see happening live right now. 10 o'clock in the morning.
Now I know what they tell you guys. Folks, look, I'm an educator that's what I did for years, 10 years in college. When I went to Maui to investigate the fires and the missing children, I had never heard of NexRad. I thought they were just weather radar. I did not understand anything about how that they can put nanoparticles in the air, how they can manipulate the weather. I was not taught that in school, and therefore I didn't understand. And it's okay if you don't understand. But friends, even Texas has a no weather modification legislation on the books. So your officials know it's happening.
Take a look at these. Shooting right out. It appears they're shooting out to sea. Could be coming inland. Who knows? It's hard to tell what this stuff is, but I've never seen these before. And like I said, the YouTuber Fire Medic analyzes the chemtrails. He analyzes what's in the spider webs that fall from the sky. And he's done some serious analyzation on this stuff. I know I said analyzed a lot, but it's 10 in the morning. I've only had one coffee and I have to fast today, so it is what it is. But that is incredibly crazy. Totally not normal. This is his YouTube channel right here, which is very, very underwhelming as far as numbers. But I'll tell you what, at least he's not talking.
Let me find it real fast. I tried to find that he was talking about that guy's YouTube channel and it would not pop up.
Down pat.
It's because they shadow ban
I
us.
mentioned back in 2020 that when these guys finally went for it, when they tried to put the capstone on the pyramid, I never imagined they would do it like this. But are you noticing this storm here in Texas? It just continues. It goes away and then it comes back and then it comes back and then it comes back. And then they just, I mean, look at this. According to the story, I know I say this a lot, but these NexRads are simply predicting the weather. Nothing more, nothing less. So apparently out here, they're not trying to predict the weather at all. They're just predicting the weather right here in Texas really bad and then shooting green and red lasers out to sea or from the ocean back in. Who knows? We can't tell.
It's a lot. I know it's a lot. The idea that somebody thought they could play God, and then that's fine. That's fine. You looked around and you saw a drought. And you thought you could help us by seeding the clouds to make it rain more. I understand. Thank you for thinking you could help us. But somehow your research got hijacked, friend. And now they're killing us with the same research all of you amazing scientists put together. So, we're going to need you guys to get it under control.
Administration that they haven't put an end to this weather modification. And for the late night video, we're going to go a little bit deeper.
We're going to dig a little deep tonight. These floods that are in Texas right now, where there's a storm that's been sitting still for 48 hours in the same place, is weather modification. There's no doubt about it. The issue is who's attacking us. Is it the deep state in America attacking America, or is it another nation attacking America? I'm going to say I think it's America attacking America. I think it's America attacking America. And I'll show you some of the evidence why, and then I'll go even further into it. All right, let's take a look at this. Texas floods follow blue rain, $107 million smart city deal, weather weapons or coincidence. I believe it's weather weapons. Here is the blue rain that was falling in Texas prior to this storm. Now, unless Alice Jones went in the clouds and took some methylene blue and put methylene blue in the clouds, rainwater is not blue. It's not blue. Unless there's methylene blue in the clouds, which I don't think there's no methylene blue in the clouds.
Hey, we're camping in this beautiful state park in Texas. And it's been raining, and the water that's coming out of the sky is blue. And it's not this tarp, because it's happening on this tarp too. Look at that. This is crazy. Are they chemtrailing us in Texas?
Now look, if you use the word chemtrail, they're going to call it a conspiracy theory. It's not chemtrails, all right? It's called weather modification. It's called cloud seeding. That is what you have to Google to get the truth. I do agree. I think that most of us need to be prepared. You know, we were all looking for lone wolf attacks on July 4th. Nobody was looking for an entire summer camp to be washed away with little girls. Right? We didn't think it was going to come like that. And folks, I want to show you the picture of the little girls you need to pray for, okay? Let's never forget that these are the little girls that are missing. That's who's missing. These are real people. These are somebody's grandchild, somebody's God baby. These are children that is somebody's heart. And whether or not you want to talk about these harder topics, I do need you guys to understand that they can make it rain on command. They can hold a storm in place. The question is why? Exactly, Grateful Warrior. I can't even imagine. And those parents are not going to be thinking about those questions right now. But one day they will. And one day I hope they trip across this video and they realize that I'm making it because I genuinely care that they did this to your children and your grandchildren. And if we don't stop it, it's going to happen more and more. Our waterways are going to be poisoned from the toxins they're using. We're not going to be able to grow our own food. And we all know he who controls the food controls the people. Like you've got to get out of your bubble and realize that something's wrong with the weather. Somebody said, how do we stop it? Well, first we have to wake people up, honey. Too many people do not even believe this is a thing. Oh, they always use our children to get to us. I agree. But I need to ask you guys a question. Do you know what the word mystic means? I'm being really serious because I really struggled when I realized that 100 years ago, they named a Christian camp Camp Mystic. And I was like, Mystic? Like, why would you call a Christian camp? And obviously not Christian terminology, right? And the word mystic means relating to mysticism, mystic doctrines, deeply or mysteriously spiritual, mystical, having a mystic experience, of or relating to religious mysteries or occult rites and practices, inspiring a sense of mystery or wonder, remote from or beyond human comprehension, importing or implying mysticism, involving some secret meaning allegorical, like mystic Babylon was the example used here. By the way, if you folks would like to get our newsletter, which will be out July 10th, due to the holiday, we pushed it back a little bit, and come on Zooms with me and my amazing subscribers, you can look in the top of comments. We do not get paid, so if you guys donate any amount from $1, $10, whatever you can afford, put your email in the donation, I'll get you on our newsletter and then the Zooms with us. It says importing or implying mysticism. All right, so it gets worse. Let me keep going. One who practices or believes in mysticism or a form of mysticism. And here's an example I've never heard of. Protestant mysticism. What is that? What is that? Protestant mysticism? Like, is that a thing? We're going to find out. Just hold on. So the synonyms of mystic are mystical, relating to mysteries or historic rites, the occult, relating to mysticism or mystics, mysterious, obscure. You get my feeling. Inducing a feeling of awe or wonder, having magical properties. An advocate or a theory of mysticism. That is what mystic means. An advocate of a theory of mysticism. One who practices or believes in mysticism or a given form of mysticism. One given to mysticism. One who holds mystical views, interpretations, especially in ecclesiastical history. So let me get this straight. My concern is the people who created this camp 100 years ago blatantly told you what it is. We're going to term it a Christian camp, but we're going to call it Camp Mystic. And since Christians no longer know the difference anymore, and people don't truly know their Bibles, people don't go to church, you don't have pastors telling you to stay the crap away from this, you don't know that this place may not be a Christian camp. It may be somewhere that believes in Protestant mysticism. And if you want to know what that actually means, a belief in direct experience of transcendent reality of God. All right, belief in the existence of realities beyond perceptual or intellectual apprehension. Belief that is not based on evidence or subjected to criticism. Obscurity of doctrine. The doctrine of the mystics who professed a pure, sublime, and wholly disinterested devotion and maintained that they had direct intercourse with the divine spirit and acquired a knowledge of God and of spiritual things unattainable by the natural intellect and such as cannot be analyzed or explained. The doctrine that the ultimate elements or principles of knowledge or belief are gained by an act or process akin to feeling or faith. I don't know, folks. It says mysticism is a religious practice in which people search for truth, knowledge, and a closeness to God through meditation and prayer. So I wanted to show you guys something that I found on the Camp Mystic website, right? Because I like to bring receipts. It's important. At Camp Mystic, campers can bond with each other while learning new skills and enjoying the great outdoors. Some of the exciting activities offered include aerobics, canoeing, kayaking, ceramics, cooking, dance, archery, drama, synchronized swimming, sports, yoga, journalism, and golf. Girls will split into tribes upon arrival and spend the week connecting with each other. These activities are to help the girls' physical and mental wellness. Mystic girls, as campers are called, mystic girls, as the campers are called, include the daughters of former Texas governors Prince Daniel, Dan Moody, and John Connolly. According to a 2011 article by Texas Monthly, former President Lyndon B. Johnson's daughters, granddaughters, and great-granddaughters also attended. First Lady Laura Bush was a camp counselor. Because the river cuts through Hunt, it is a popular place for summer camps. Okay? There's a girls' camp called Heart of the Hills, just a mile north of Camp Mystic. That is the lady, the second, when we were talking about how you had 2 camp directors die, this is where the second was. Yoga at Camp Mystic, right here. Now, my 83-year-old parents do yoga, but I'm pretty sure it's not the type of yoga they're doing here, okay? I'm just saying. Mystic's newest activity. We're excited to introduce Holy Yoga. Holy Yoga. Our goal is to provide our campers with a safe environment to connect with God through physical devotion and movement. Each class period opens with a breathing exercise, meditation, and prayer involving a daily scripture or a mystic ideal. I didn't write this. They're going to give your child a holy scripture or a mystic ideal. You know, whatever we choose for your baby to read. Just because something has the title Christian does not mean it is Christian, folks. If a wolf looked like a wolf, it would never, ever get near the sheep. But it must come in sheep's clothing so it can get through the layers of your defense. You have a 99-year-old girls' camp called Camp Mystic, and not a Christian in Texas ever thought to ask, why the hell did you name a Christian camp Camp Mystic and then call the girls Mystic Girls? I'm sorry, y'all. It didn't feel right when I first heard it. My skin crawled, but it gets better. In 2025, the CAMP officers, the camp officers, or most of them, not all, but most of them were tied to some stuff Bill Gates does, okay? So you got Eric Silvius or something like that. He is from the H.E. Butt Foundation, H.E.B. Foundation. If you don't know what that is, the H.E. Butt family owns the H.E.B. grocery store line, made donations to Up Partnership, which is a member of Strive Together, who made donations to Higher Expectations. All right, if you don't know what Higher Expectations is, that is run by the Bill Clintons and the Bill Gates. You've got to learn to look at what all this is and see it. So you've got, I saw this article by this guy. His name's Joseph L. Trahan, right? Joseph Trahan. He begins his X account like this. Last Sunday, a friend, a very spiritual mystic and Christian woman, was telling me of her reoccurring dreams of a massive water deluge in Texas Hill Country. Folks, let me tell you something. God can give you dreams and visions. I'm not debating that. He gives them to me. But I will never use the word spiritual mystic and Christian in the same sentence. It's getting all new agey. And I honestly think that's what this camp probably really is. I'm just saying. Because people have sent their kids there. You need to think about the politicians we've had as presidents and as governors across this country for the past 100 years. Very few of them be what you really call Christian, right? We all know that they're Masons and they're, into all of this new age weird stuff. So you've got a Christian girls camp. That's what they call it. For the people like you and me. But the people sending their daughters there know it's not really Christian, it's mystic. It's mystical. It's enough to get your baby caught up in the beginnings of witchcraft, folks. Lyndon B. Johnson, right, sent his daughters and granddaughters and his great-granddaughters there. Laura Bush, James Baker III, the Bass family, August Fluger, the U.S. representative from Texas. It's a big thing. It's a big popular place to go. It says, while I was doing my research on Camp Mystic for any occult activity, as I did with Asheville, lo and behold, there has been occult activity with sacrifices going on in Hunt, Texas, which is near Camp Mystic. Folks, I'm not telling you that you have to believe all of this. I'm just telling you, I don't understand why a Christian camp would say Camp Mystic. And nobody, it's like we're so asleep. It's like we're so asleep. Christians, wake up. Wake up. They told you what it is. It's Camp Mystic. And your daughter's now a mystic girl. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. Maybe that's not important. Maybe you really thought this was a Christian camp. You can't tell me the name Mystic didn't make your hair stand on end. Because if it didn't, baby, you need to get in your Bible. I agree. I am too a nonviolent person 99% of the time. Unless you try to hurt something that I love. Or someone innocent. And these were innocent babies. But my question is, why in America, as a Christian country, are we allowing camps to proliferate that are called Camp Mystic? They tell you what they're teaching your children. It's not a Christian camp, friends. I don't care if the people that own it go to church. My ex-husband was a child molester and a youth pastor. He went to church too. Wonder why? He had to be able to get where the kids are. Stop thinking because somebody goes to church that they're a Christian. Or that because they're a school teacher, they're there for the right reasons. Those days are gone. That innocence is gone. We're in a spiritual battle and we need to stand up. And folks, if you'd like to get, exactly, that's where they hide water otter. They have to hide where the food is. And your children are the food. It's hard to say, but it's the truth. Their innocence is the food. So friends, again, if you'd like to get the newsletter or just donate to support our channel, my 46-year-old husband was diagnosed with an aneurysm, and I'm not getting paid for this, and it's just insane right now. But you will get the newsletter, and you will get a Zoom link with me if you row in our boat and help us financially. I love you guys so very much. Been on here 40 minutes. I need to wake my family up. It's our last day here and I need to go. But just remember to make sure I have your email address and memo so I can get you on everything. Love you guys so very much. Keep your head on a swivel, folks.